Sweet moment, Woo-seok tenderly dries Hye-yoon's hair, melting fans' hearts. Simple gesture hold the power to captivate millions? In an instant. What seemed like an ordinary act transformed into a scene that fans can't stop talking about. Join Red Carpet revealed as we dive into this heartwarming moment and uncover why it has become the talk of the town. It happened in a blink. Yet it was enough to set an entire fandom ablaze with excitement. A towel in his hand, Woo-seok leaned closer to Hye-yoon, carefully drying her hair with a tenderness so uncharacteristic of the stoic persona he often projects on screen. What could have been dismissed as a simple, courteous gesture immediately transformed into the kind of moment fans dream of, replaying it endlessly across social media platforms. Acting every movement, every glance, and every smile. Was it just a fleeting act of kindness? Or was there something more hidden beneath the surface of this sweet exchange? In that brief instant, the boundary between co-stars blurred into something far more intimate, and the entire entertainment world leaned in to watch. It unfolded after a long day of filming, with the atmosphere still buzzing from lights, cameras, and endless retakes. Hye-yoon, slightly flushed and visibly exhausted, pushed damp strands of hair from her face, a gesture of vulnerability that immediately caught Woo-seok's attention. Without hesitation, he reached for a towel and, almost instinctively, began to dry her hair. The motion was gentle, deliberate, filled with the kind of quiet care that electrified everyone in the room. The staff gasped softly, some exchanging knowing glances, while cameras captured the interaction that would soon explode across the internet. For fans who have long speculated about the chemistry between the two, this was not just another behind-the-scenes anecdote, it was a revelation. A glimpse into something unspoken yet deeply felt. Social media erupted within minutes. Hashtags like Woo-seok Hye-yoon and Sweet Moment began trending globally. Twitter feeds overflowed with clips of the moment, down to highlight Woo-seok's concentration and Hye-yoon's shy smile. Fan edits adorned with soft music and romantic captions spread like wildfire on TikTok and Instagram, garnering millions of views overnight. Comment sections filled with declarations like, "He looks at her like she's the only one in the room," and "This is straight out of a K-drama." Even those unfamiliar with either star found themselves captivated, pulled into the narrative woven by that tender act. The universality of care, affection, and tenderness transcended language barriers, allowing audiences across the world to resonate with the gesture. The intensity of the fan reaction speaks volumes about the bond these two stars have cultivated over time. Hye-yoon, known for her bright energy and emotional depth on screen, has always been admired for her ability to balance vulnerability with strength. Woo-seok, in contrast, is often seen as reserved, charismatic yet guarded, the kind of personality that leaves fans yearning for glimpses of his softer side. Together, their dynamic crackles with an undeniable authenticity that fans can sense even without explicit confirmation. The towel moment became a symbol of this dynamic, his protective, quiet care meeting her openness and warmth in a way that felt both cinematic and utterly real. But beyond the immediate frenzy lies a deeper question. What does this moment actually mean for Woo-seok and Hye-yoon's careers, their images, and their relationship with their fans? The entertainment industry thrives on such ambiguities. Small gestures are magnified into cultural phenomena. For Woo-seok, this act paints him not just as a talented performer but as a figure of kindness and tenderness. A persona that advertisers and audiences alike will find irresistible. For Hye-yoon, it adds another layer to her charm, positioning her as someone cherished not just by fans but also by those who work alongside her. The synergy between the two enhances their marketability as a pair, opening doors to potential joint projects, endorsements, and opportunities that capitalize on their chemistry. Theories have begun to swirl around whether this was a spontaneous act or a carefully orchestrated moment. Some argue it was purely instinctual, born from genuine concern and care, while others suggest it may have been encouraged by staff aware of the potential viral impact. Yet the beauty of the moment lies precisely in its ambiguity. Whether real or staged, it struck an emotional chord that resonated globally. Fans do not merely watch celebrities, they invest emotionally in them. And such gestures serve as fuel for the narratives they craft in their imaginations. For shippers, this was confirmation of a hidden romance. For skeptics, it was a perfect example of the fine line between performance and reality. Still, it is undeniable that the interaction carried an authenticity that could not be easily dismissed. Woo-seok's expression, focused and tender, contrasted sharply with the playful bravado he often displays on screen. Hye-yoon's reaction, slightly startled, softening into an affectionate smile, was far too natural to be scripted. The rawness of the moment gave it power, elevating it beyond a simple backstage interaction into something iconic. Entertainment journalists, quick to sense a cultural flashpoint, rushed to publish op-eds analyzing the significance. Some hailed it as a refreshing reminder that real humanity can still shine through the polished facade of stardom. Others criticized the frenzy as an invasion of privacy, questioning whether fans were reading too much into what could have been nothing more than a friendly gesture. Weeks later, the moment continues to echo across fandom communities. Fan cafes dedicate entire threads to analyzing Woo-seok's body language, comparing it to previous interviews and interactions. YouTube channels produce long-form essays examining the psychology of celebrity intimacy, using the towel scene as a case study. Even global media outlets have picked up the story, translating it into multiple languages and tailoring the narrative to their audiences. In Japan, the moment was framed as a symbol of pure romance. Southeast Asia, it was celebrated as proof of authentic connection in an industry often accused of manufacturing emotions. In the West, it was analyzed as a viral phenomenon that transcended cultural barriers, highlighting the universal appeal of tenderness and care. The narrative has grown so large that it now extends beyond Woo-seok and Hye-yoon themselves. It raises questions about the nature of fandom, the power of small gestures, and the ways in which celebrity culture magnifies intimacy into spectacle. Yet, at its heart, the story remains rooted in a single moment, a towel, a gesture, and the unspoken bond between two people who, for a fleeting instant, revealed more than they may have intended. As time passes, the speculation shows no sign of fading. Will Woo-seok or Hye-yoon address the moment directly? Will their agencies release statements clarifying its nature? Or will the silence itself serve as tacit confirmation of the deeper connection fans believe exists? The answers remain uncertain. But one thing is clear, the sweet moment has already secured its place in the annals of fan culture, destined to be remembered, replayed, cherished for years to come. The echo of that single tender gesture did not fade with time. Instead, it deepened, weaving itself into the ongoing narrative of Woo-seok and Hye-yoon's shared journey. What began as a fleeting act of kindness evolved into a symbol, a lens through which fans, critics, industry insiders re-examine everything they thought they knew about the pair. As the weeks turned into months, the towel moment became less about the act itself and more about what it represented: vulnerability, intimacy, and the possibility of something unspoken blossoming behind the curtain of celebrity life. For Woo-seok, the act altered the way he was perceived by the public. Known for his stoic presence and charismatic distance, suddenly became the embodiment of tenderness. Advertisers quickly took notice, sensing the value of aligning their products with this newly revealed aspect of his persona. Commercials began to highlight his softer side. Images of Woo-seok holding pets, smiling gently, or playing with children appeared in ad campaigns that once focused solely on his cool, mysterious allure. The shift in branding was subtle but powerful, expanding his reach beyond his core fan base and into the hearts of a broader audience who now saw him as approachable, relatable, and, above all, kind. Hye-yoon's career, too, experienced a subtle transformation. Already adored for her warmth and versatility as an actress, she now carried with her the glow of being cherished, not only by fans but seemingly by those who knew her personally. The gentle care shown by Woo-seok toward her painted her in a new light, someone worthy of affection, respect, and devotion. In interviews following the incident, journalists noted a newfound confidence in her demeanor, a sparkle in her eye that suggested she was both amused and touched by the global frenzy. Though she never addressed the moment directly, her silence became part of the allure, allowing fans to fill the gaps with their imaginations. The entertainment industry thrives on such mysteries. Commentators were quick to frame the incident within the larger history of celebrity culture. Articles compared the towel moment to other iconic gestures that had defined star relationships in the past, glances exchanged at award shows, subtle touches during performances, whispered conversations caught on camera. Yet, none seemed to carry the same level of authenticity. What made the Woo-seok and Hye-yoon incident stand apart was its simplicity. There was no grand declaration, no dramatic setting, no intention to perform. It was precisely the ordinariness of the gesture that made it extraordinary. Fans took this interpretation and ran with it, creating an entire mythology around the pair. Online forums dedicated to their supposed chemistry exploded with new activity, each post dissecting the possible meanings of the moment. Argued it was undeniable proof of romance, citing body language experts who claimed Woo-seok's posture indicated protectiveness and intimacy. Others believed it was the result of years of friendship, an unspoken bond that had naturally deepened over time. Regardless of the theories, truth united them all. The towel moment had captured something real, something that transcended the boundaries of performance and reached straight into the realm of the personal. Theories only grew wilder as fans revisited past interactions. Old interview clips were unearthed and reframed as hidden clues. Did Woo-seok once pause before complimenting Hye-yoon in a way that suggested restraint? Did Hye-yoon laugh a little too warmly at his jokes, even when no one else did? Suddenly, years of footage became a treasure trove of evidence, each moment feeding into the ever-expanding narrative. YouTube channels published long essays tracing the arc of their relationship, framing the towel gesture as the culmination of a story that had been unfolding quietly for years. What fascinated cultural critics most was the universality of the moment. In South Korea, where public displays of affection among celebrities are rare and often frowned upon, the gesture felt daring yet subtle enough to be accepted. Western fan communities, it was celebrated as a romantic milestone, akin to the kind of slow-burn love stories seen in popular dramas. In Japan and Southeast Asia, it was framed as a symbol of purity and sincerity. Across the globe, the same moment was reinterpreted through different cultural lenses. Yet the emotional impact remained the same. People felt moved, touched, and inspired by the tenderness they witnessed. Industry insiders speculated endlessly about the impact on their future collaborations. Would directors and producers now be eager to cast Woo-seok and Hye-yoon together, capitalizing on their undeniable chemistry? Could endorsements featuring the pair as a duo break records, tapping into the public's fascination with their bond? Some even whispered about the possibility of a joint drama project, one that would blur the line between fiction and reality, allowing audiences to indulge in the fantasy that their on-screen romance reflected something off-screen as well. Agencies representing Woo-seok and Hye-yoon found themselves in a delicate position. On one hand, the viral frenzy brought unprecedented attention to their stars, using their profiles internationally. On the other, speculation about their personal lives threatened to overshadow their professional achievements. Statements were carefully crafted, acknowledging the buzz without confirming or denying the implications. The ambiguity was intentional, leaving room for fans to imagine while protecting the privacy of both actors. In this way, the towel moment became not just a flash of intimacy, but a strategic turning point in the way their images were managed. For fans, however, the corporate strategies mattered little. What mattered was the story they could carry with them, the memory of a moment that felt genuine in a world often accused of being manufactured. Fan art flooded online platforms, depicting Woo-seok and Hye-yoon in dreamlike scenarios inspired by the towel gesture. Songs were written, poems shared. Even small fan-made films emerged, each one a testament to the emotional resonance of that instant. Communities formed around the shared experience of reliving it, proving once again that fandom is not just about consuming entertainment but about creating culture around it. Time passed, the frenzy began to settle into something deeper, more enduring. The towel moment became a touchstone, a reference point in conversations about Woo-seok and Hye-yoon's careers. It was no longer just an isolated incident, but a symbol of who they were as individuals and as a duo. For Woo-seok, it underscored the compassion beneath his cool exterior. For Hye-yoon, it highlighted the affection she inspires in those around her. Together, it painted a portrait of two stars whose connection transcended the superficial boundaries of celebrity. The true legacy of the moment may never be fully defined. It will remain a beautiful mystery, forever suspended in the space between speculation and reality. Or perhaps, one day, Woo-seok and Hye-yoon will address it directly, offering clarity that either confirms or dispels the narratives fans have built. Either way, the impact is undeniable. A simple gesture, captured in the right place at the right time, has left an indelible mark not just on their careers but on the hearts of millions. In conclusion, the sweet moment when Woo-seok tenderly dried Hye-yoon's hair was more than an act of kindness, it was a revelation. It revealed the humanity of two beloved stars, sparked a global conversation, and reminded us of the power small gestures hold in shaping stories that transcend borders. Whether seen as romance, friendship, or simple decency, Act resonated because it was real. Because it reflected something universal that every fan, regardless of culture or background, understand the beauty of being cared for, even in the smallest of ways. And as fans continue to replay the clip, create art, and dream of what it might mean. In truth indoors, sometimes, the most ordinary gestures carry the most extraordinary weight. In the end, what began as a fleeting gesture between Woo-seok and Hye-yoon has become so much more than a viral clip. It is a reminder that even the simplest acts of kindness, like gently drying someone's hair, can carry the weight of meaning, igniting imaginations and uniting fans across the world. Whether it remains a mystery, a sign of deeper affection, or simply a beautiful moment of care between colleagues, impact will echo for years to come. The towel moment has already carved its place in the shared memory of millions, proving once again that the smallest gestures often leave the biggest marks on our hearts. To all our readers around the globe, thank you for joining Red Carpet Revealed on this journey into one of the most heartwarming and captivating moments in entertainment. Your passion, curiosity, unwavering support are what make stories like these come alive, carrying them far beyond the screen and into everyday conversations. We are grateful to share these discoveries with you. Look forward to bringing you even more stories that inspire, surprise, and move you. Until the next revelation, thank you for walking this red carpet with us.